plates, moving around, and you've created the opportunity and time to be able to be here. So we are very grateful. We are not going to take your time. So yeah, we're just going to crack on. Others will join us because of our time. Can I encourage that we mute ourselves so that we can get the best out of this online session? And I will share my screen. Can everybody see my screen, please?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you. So welcome everyone, and thank you so much for your commitment so far as senior leaders to this program, your inputs, your contributions. We've just finished the aspiring leader support sessions, and we've had a lot of good things about the good job you're doing. So we are very grateful. The aspiring leaders are very grateful. We are all excited. So thank you so much. I think that is the first thing we need to say, that the feedback so far has been fantastic, has been encouraged. Thank you so much for all your inputs. For those of us that have not met
you're not involved in demullerize, why are you coming in? Oh, well, they've asked me to.
Ola, please, are you able to mute? Thank you. So for those of us that have not met me before, maybe you are unable to attend the face-to-face session or the previous onboarding session. My name is Modupe Desumo, and I'm one of the directors at GraceHola Limited. I also sit on the advisory board as one of the members for the Race Equality Hub at Liverpool City Region Combined Authority. So today we'll be looking at 3 to 4 key items as previously been circulated to us, which is around inclusive leadership. What does it mean to be inclusive leadership? Just to give us a kind of an awareness and an opportunity to deepen our knowledge about that using purple flag. And I would like us to be curious about what does it mean by purple flag? We're going to see it later. Then the next thing is that we want to check how we are feeling, how we're doing on the program, what are our challenges, and what are the supports if we need any support at the moment, so that we can make sure that this is provided to us. We would also hear briefly from the colleague Maleka from the Race Equality Hub to give us some information briefly about what support is available for senior leaders participating on this program from the Race Equality Hub. So this session is going to be recorded, or it's been recorded already, because it gives opportunity to people that are not able to make it, so that we can share the recordings with them. They can still see what we've done and how we've learned and shared together today. That is going to be opportunity for us to make contributions during the chats, use your chat box, use the raise hand button, or mute yourself when we are not talking, so that we can get the best out of it. Time is very precious. We've only have 1 hour together, and we want to maximize it. Be curious, please, because it's an opportunity to learn one new tips or the other from the other senior leaders in the room as we listen and learn from each other. There will be opportunity for interactive session, which is where we want to check how you're doing. We want to understand your challenges. So please participate during those sessions. And at the end, please give your feedback, because that is really important to us to know how we can support you better. The objectives for today itself is about promoting a safe environment, creating a welcoming place, a welcoming space for opportunity for us to learn and share experiences together as senior leader, because it is very important for us to learn and share together so that we can grow together on this journey. So there is going to be opportunity for open discussions about your progress and challenge so far, and also your role as a mentor and also as a sponsor. That is very important. And what this will do is that it's going to give us in this room an opportunity to collaboratively solve any identified problem together as leaders in the room. And where there is a need for continuous guidance and support or resources to be provided, we will be there to ensure that is provided for you. So in summary, our expected outcomes or the objectives of this support session is to create an opportunity for safe, welcoming environments where we can share our experiences, deepen our diversity and inclusion understanding, and identify any areas of support for us. So in that spirit, let us check in with the video around inclusive leadership through Purple Flag. I'm not sure you'll be able, let me check. If you can hear me, let me know. Can you hear it?
We can't hear it, Madupe.
Okay, so I will stop sharing and share with sound. Apologies about that. Can you hear it? Can you hear me? Kelly, can you hear?
No, no.
We are having some technical glitches this morning. Apologies about that, but that should be solved now.
Same episode.
Okay.
We all have our biases. The set of assumptions.
Can you hear it now?
Yeah, it was
Okay,
playing
so
then.
let's go back.
We all have our biases. The set of assumptions that we make and the things we don't notice about people's race, gender, religion, sexual orientation, appearance, and other traits. They come from the part of our mind that jumps to conclusions that we might not even be aware that we have.
I really can't tell you the number of times people assumed I was the receptionist when I was an executive at the company.
That kind of bias gets in the way of good collaboration, performance, and decision-making.
It creates an invisible tax of resentment and frustration. The more frustrated we are, the more silent we are likely to be. And the more silent we are, the less we may be able to do our best work. The good news, though, is bias is not inevitable. So here's how to disrupt bias in 3 steps. The first step is to create a shared vocabulary. Sometimes bias shows up in big, embarrassing gaffes, but more often it comes out in the little words and phrases we choose, which are packed with assumptions. In meetings especially, these often go unnoticed, or even worse, people notice, but don't know what to say. That's why we recommend coming up with a shared word or phrase that everyone agrees to use to disrupt bias, attitudes, or behaviors. Examples teams are using are bias alert, stoplight, or even throwing up a peace sign.
Leaders often ask us to give them the right words, but the best words are the ones your team will actually say, not the ones that leaders impose. So talk to your team. My very favorite is the one that you recommended, Trier, purple flag. When someone says or does something biased, we'll say purple flag, and maybe we'll even wave a purple flag. It's not a red flag, it's a friendly purple flag.
It helps us become more aware of our blind spots.
Purple flag.
Purple flag. Thanks for pointing that out. I've been noticing lately I use a lot of sight metaphors that often portray disabilities like being visually impaired in negative ways, but I'm committed to doing better and working on it.
I am too. Another great shared vocabulary trick is to ask members of your team to respond to bias with an I statement. An I statement invites the other person in to understand things from your perspective rather than calling them out. Like, I don't think you're going to take me seriously when you're calling me honey, or I don't think you meant that the way that it sounded. Usually, when people's biases are pointed out to them clearly and compassionately, they apologize and correct things going forward. Usually, but not always.
That brings us to the second step. Create a shared norm for how to respond when your bias is pointed out.
When my bias is flagged, I can only be glad that I'm learning something new if I can move past the shame. I hate the idea that I've harmed someone. And when I feel ashamed, I rarely respond well. So it's really helpful to have that shared norm so that I know what to say in those moments.
We recommend you start with, thank you for pointing that out. It took courage for that person to disrupt the bias, so it's important to acknowledge that. Then there are 2 choices on what to say next. 1, I get it, or 2, I don't get it. Could you explain more after the meeting?
The other day, you and I were recording a podcast, and I said HR serves 3 masters, and you waved the purple flag. I knew what I had done wrong. Why was I using a slavery metaphor? We hit pause, I thanked you, and we re-recorded. It was no big deal. The thing I love about the purple flag is how efficient it is.
Flagging the bias didn't prevent us from getting the work done. In fact, it helps us work together more honestly.
It's even harder when I don't know what I did wrong. Once I asked someone out to lunch. Out came the purple flag. I had no idea why. So I was relieved to know what to say next. Thank you for pointing it out, but I don't get it. Could we talk after the meeting? Afterwards, the person reminded me that they were fasting for Ramadan. It instantly made sense to me, and I discovered something that I could be more aware of. But to get to awareness, I had to move through shame. It was hard to say, I don't get it. The shared norm helped me listen and learn rather than getting defensive. The fact that there was a norm at all reassured me that other people are making similar kinds of mistakes and that we're all learning together.
Disrupting bias may start off feeling uncomfortable, but with time and consistency, we can build the stamina we need to push through it. When it becomes routine for us to notice our biases, all of a sudden, they feel less threatening. It's hard to break bias habits, yet we can change the pattern with consistent effort.
We've got to be patient with ourselves and with others.
Patient and also persistent.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our last step. Once a team has come up with a shared vocabulary and agrees on the shared norm for how to respond, the team should commit to disrupting bias at least once in every meeting.
If bias isn't flagged in a meeting, it doesn't mean there wasn't any bias. It just means either nobody noticed or nobody knew what to say. When we are silent about bias, we reinforce it. And it can't be just the targets of bias who point it out. Observers and leaders have got to speak up. We all have a responsibility.
By making a practice of disrupting bias quickly and kindly, we prevent it from metastasizing into something worse, like prejudice, bullying, discrimination, or harassment.
Bias disruptors, a shared vocabulary, a shared norm, and a shared commitment ensure that we notice and learn from the mistakes that we are all making so that we can work better together.
When we collaborate, we use our full capacity as humans to get more done collectively than we could ever dream of accomplishing as individuals. So let's stop letting bias get in the way.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for listening to that for us to check in. Basically, silence reinforces bias. Inclusive leaders take swift and kind action. And a kind action is about, what Purple Flag is all about. Sorry, that is just coming my way and I'm trying to move it around. So it's about what Purple Flag is about. So this morning, we just want to check in by asking, how can you incorporate these or similar strategies into the shadowing program you are involved in and your broader organizational culture to disrupt bias? It might be within the meetings between yourself and your aspiring leader that you are working with. How can you incorporate this, or how have you incorporated something similar? You can type in the chat. I will stop sharing so that I can see everyone. You can type in the chat. We invite people to raise up their hands and make comments. Feel free to comment what resonates with you in that. How can we bring that to the shadowing program and also our wider organization to help us disrupt bias? You can type into the chat box to highlight the things that resonate with you. For me, for example, is an opportunity to listen and learn new things, to become more inclusive, saying thank you to the person that pointed it out as well, because it takes the courage to do that, moving past the shame, discuss with your peers to understand this as well as a leader, discuss with your team. Fantastic. Paul, I can see your hand. Thank you.
Hi. I just thought I'd raise my hand and talk rather than type in, because I think I've got a bit of a lengthy response.
Thank you.
One of I think the purple flag would be really, really helpful and useful, and it's certainly something that I worry about of people not feeling that they can raise something that I've said wrong or something that I didn't understand or that came across not how I meant it. I've often seen on people's email threads or on their email signatures information along the lines of sort of I'm in a journey to be anti-racist, and please highlight to me if I say anything that causes offence. It's not intentional, and I want to learn. But I'll be honest, in this group, I'm always quite reticent about putting stuff like that in my email signature in case people think, oh, is he racist? Has he been told to put that? Is he that bad that he needs to put in his email signature that he might offend me? So I think this purple flag is a really brilliant thing to include into our culture. I suppose the question I have is it a universally known thing, or is it just one idea in a pool of many, or is this where does this come from, and how widely used is it? Because I think it'd be really, really helpful for me personally.
Thank you so much, Paul. I think this is from an idea that originated from, the two ladies that have spoken to us in the process of disrupting bias in what they do on a daily basis, and to be able to help advance and improve awareness of people to become more inclusive leaders. Thank you so much, Paul. That is really helpful. So I will go to the chat. Thank you so much. From Chris, it says that establish a safe space in which to challenge or question language. I've always found it useful for people to be upfront about this. Fantastic. From Mandy, I like the video and the information to help us challenge bias. The only thing I would say is Liverpool, we have purple flag status. This relates to safety in the city. Potentially, this may be confusing as to people's. Definitely. So that's good for pointing that out. It might not be purple flag that you want to use. You might use another color. So take, for example, you may use a color of your branding, of your organizational branding, that denotes this is what your organization is known for branding. For example, NHS, we know them with blue colors, for example. If we use a blue flag or anything that you can, recognize yourself with. So that is really good. What resonated most for me was the shared norm for how to call out bias in meetings, creating the safe environment. And this is from Jean. In the interactions I'm having with my peer colleague, I try to make sure that when we are discussing a leadership challenge, normal for any aspiring leader, we cover up the possibilities of gender and race issues within the discussions. Fantastic. This is really good. I'm excited to hear all the feedback from us, and that we found the short clips video to widen our knowledge and understanding about inclusive leaders. Very helpful. This is from Helen. We previously used a similar approach with a red card, which people with learning disability could use when they felt they were being excluded. But this is a great that it is purple flag, so much kinder. I do want to introduce this, really feel like a very practical way to challenge, and a one that we can also start to use across Liverpool City region. Fantastic. Thank you so much. I've got your hands on Joanne.
Hi, yeah, thanks, Madupe. I think this is absolutely brilliant. Completely concur with Paul. Just wanted to ask if the mentees, the aspiring leaders, have seen this video. Are they having the same sort of resources as we are, so we can use it to connect?
Yes, we can share the link with you as well, and also so that you can share it with them.
Yeah.
Because I love that question, Johan. By watching the video together with them, keep them at ease to actually tell you that yes, we can actually do something like this, so that anytime we are discussing and you said something that I feel, oh, that is bias, I'll just raise something, maybe a sign piece or something that would tell you, and then it can invite you to say, oh, what have I done wrong? Thank you for raising that. I get it. Thank you for raising that. I don't get it. Can we talk about it?
I think this is brilliant, because what we often talk about is we are going to trip up, and it's almost like acknowledgement and almost like permission to be fallible. So that psychological safety. And what do we do when that occurs? And I love that language about, moving quickly and swiftly, so it doesn't become something, it doesn't manifest or it doesn't fester, and that there's that continuous learning. So it's how to create the permission to be fallible and that psychological safety, to swiftly and quickly normalize that conversation that, yeah, no, I get it, or I'm sorry, and I don't get it. Help me learn. So absolutely brilliant resource. Thank you. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that input. And I can see messages coming from the chat supporting what you are saying. That yes, Joanne, you are saying the right thing. So we are going to share the link with everybody in the link on the groups today, and also those people that cannot attend. So let's go back to today's session, whereby we want to check in. Apologies when we are playing that video. I just seen in the chat that it was not in the present mode. So I've put it back in the present mode. Can everybody see it in the present mode now? I'm sorry, I can't see anybody. Ola or Kelly, if you can just let me know.
We've just got your screen at the moment. Now it's gone back to full screen, everybody.
Okay.
So you're not sharing anything at the moment.
Okay, let me go back. 1 second. Oh, I know what happened. I just gone back to the screen and I was not sharing. Can everybody see the screen now?
Yeah, it started to load. Yeah, it's on.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Kelly. So this session is going to be run by myself and Kelly. Kelly Woods in the house. Kelly, can you signify to people for them to know who is Kelly?
Yeah, okay, so just speaking then, that was me. So yeah, Kelly Woods, Programme Lead at the Northwest Leadership Academy.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So this post-check session is actually to, after we've checked in everybody, we found the check-in really useful, is for us to look at how are we feeling? How are we doing in terms of what are your challenges? What are the supports you need? How are things been going on for you? Because we've met with the aspiring leaders this morning and they've been able to tell us how good you have been supporting them. For those people that doesn't start with us, I want to echo their message again. Thank you. That was their message. Thank you. It's this, what they said was, this is an opportunity of a lifetime that you have given to them, and they do really appreciate it. So I'm extending that, big thank you to you. So for your session now, we want to look at how are you doing? If you've got your phone, please scan the QR code and answer the 4 questions there. Ola, please, if you can copy the link as well into the chat so that people that are on their laptop can just copy and click the link straight. If you are not talking, unmute yourself so that people will not be hearing echo. Sorry, mute yourself. Fantastic. So please scan the QR code or click the link and answer the 4 questions. And I will take this off the slide. I will go to the back end of that form so that we can see what question you've come into. So the 4 questions you will be seeing is this. Have you had or shared your first introductory or shadowing session with your peer ethnically diverse aspiring leader? Yes or no? In the session for aspiring leaders, it's been very positive. So we want to hear your own feedback as well so that we can be able to say, is everybody progressing well on the program? What type of opportunities have you been providing to your aspiring leader in line with their set goals that they've shared with you? E.g., supporting projects and program management, attending board meetings, shadowing you at a meeting you chair, understanding strategic decision making, governance making. Could you put the QR code back up, please? Okay. So this is it. Are you able to scan that as well? So what type of opportunities are you providing to them? And the 3rd question is around, what are your current challenges or what is missing for you on this program at the moment? What would you like to see on this program? And the last question, if my brain has not failed me, is talking about, in one word, how would you describe your experience so far on this program in one word? I know it's very difficult sometimes. You're welcome, Kelvin. I know it's very difficult sometimes to be able to use one word, but in one word, how can you describe your experience on this program so far? So, view responses. We've got 11 people so far.
I guess, well, Madupi, I'm just thinking while people are filling in the form, is it worthwhile just sharing, because we've just come from the last session, is it worthwhile just sharing some of the key themes that came out of from the leaders themselves?
Yes. The aspiring leaders, thank you so much, Kelly. That was very helpful. The aspiring leaders were very, very happy in terms of how the things are going for them. In fact, I will use a statement, if I can still recall it. She said, everything went really well. The whole team were so welcoming. I felt like a queen in the room. That was a statement, which is fantastic. The other person, there are other feedbacks around, yes, I've been able to, shadow governance, strategic meetings, attend meetings, and there are many positive feedback. Although there are one or two that talks about they've not been able to hear back from their senior leader, maybe because of, they are busy or things like that. But from the room as well, other people say, yes, it happens to me at the beginning, but I kept emailing my senior leader. I kept letting my senior leader know, I am here to learn. Please answer me. And there was, a testifier from there that, yes, I received a feedback. We've got our session. We've got it booked in, which was really, really fantastic. So far, it has been really good positive experience from the aspiring leaders. So it will really be good to hear from your perspectives as senior leaders as well, so that we can look at how we work to support you on this. So let's keep coming. In the room, we've got 41 people. So let's say with us, the project team, we've got about 35 people in the room. So if we can have 10 more within within 3 minutes, so that we start discussing at 11:30. So 10 more, if you are in the process of doing that, that will really be helpful. So the questions are, have you had or scheduled your first introductory session or your shadowing session with your peer ethnically diverse aspiring leader? And second question is around, what types of opportunities have you been providing your aspiring leader? Okay, technical issues, Arlene, that's fine. You can always catch up. And we've got more opportunities. What are your current challenges? Yes, time. So we can see the themes coming together. For aspiring leader, that was mentioned as well, time. And the last one is in one word. So I think we can continue to discuss it while people are, bringing in their responses. That's helpful. So for the first one, have you had or scheduled your session with your aspiring leader? Fantastic. 92% said, yes, we've done that, while 8% said, no, we've not done that. So we believe everybody is busy, and it's just about looking at the opportunities to be able to do that. For those two senior colleagues in the room that haven't done that, if there is a specific barrier on this for you, please reach out to us. We'll be able to work with you and your aspiring leader to get that sorted, to move that forward. We've been, during the few weeks, we've been able to support some leaders that are in that position, and aspiring leader that has helped them to be able to move forward in those directions. So please feel free to reach out to us. But thank you again for your honesty. That is the current position, which is helpful. Thank you very much. The second question is about, what types of opportunities are we providing? So let's make this bigger so that we can be able to see it widely. More one-to-one support so far has felt it was more relevant, appropriate, booked in, attend next team meeting, which is helpful. Is about knowing what is good for that person in line with their goals to be able to learn what they want to achieve. Then shadowing board meetings to observe decision-making, monthly mentoring conversations, access to networks and coaching, agreed SWOT review of next steps. Fantastic. So for those of us, SWOT is a strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat for that person to review. for their next meeting is Monday. Fantastic. Regular one-to-one meetings and shadowing, leadership team meeting, university committee. Fantastic. Those are really helpful opportunities. Shadowing various meetings and meeting monthly to discuss issues, shadowing a facilitated session with theatre leaders, shadowing a fundraising with the National Heritage Lottery Fund. Wow, that's a great opportunity. We are meeting next week for the first time. Fantastic. Thank you for getting it booked in. We are looking to arrange a few shadowing opportunities. Thank you. Joined my management team, joining a senior manager workshop, one-to-ones with me, spending time with my number two, one female senior leaders to understand how she leads, which is helpful. I have been able to progress as my aspiring leader was away. I am struggling to get the clinical engagements form from the trust completed. Okay, if you are the person that wrote this number, this one I've just read, please reach out to me after this meeting so that I can work to support you on that, please. Confidence building, goal setting, helping with personal resilience, attendance at conference and 2 meetings with 2 leaders from global majority, shared range of opportunities, shadowing opportunities meeting, extended leadership meeting, discuss about meeting and paper, shadow board of directors, meeting next week together with future senior management meetings. Fantastic. Shadowing exec meeting. Next is our health and well-being board until multi-partner and meeting in public led by elected members, making decisions and shadowing meetings where strategic decisions are being evaluated and discussed. So as I'm reading this, I can see that it mirrors what the aspiring leaders have told us. Thank you so much. This is exciting. Shadowing strategic meetings with senior team, discussing taking a lead in the quality improvement. Thank you so much for that opportunity to take a lead, because that is how we can sponsor this particular aspiring leaders in our organizations. Shadow board meetings at St. Henry's, Halton Health and Wellbeing Board, introduced to other ethnically diverse leaders in my organization in the preferred discipline. Thank you so much. Attending workshops, plan includes strategy planning and data analysis, exam planning and preparation for promotion exam. We have had 3 sessions. One was around identifying objectives and wants of the aspiring leader. Thank you so much. That is very important because that is the foundation of what we are going to be building on. We haven't had any further sessions as yet. My mentee has been offered a new role and is reassessing goals. Fantastic. If you need any support or any help with that to, put that forward, please reach out to us. We will work with you and your mentee to make sure things move forward. Coaching and shadowing, career guidance, one-to-one meetings. We had our introductory meetings. I think that's the end. We had our introductory meetings to find out what she wanted to learn about our leadership. She has also attended a second session, which was our annual volunteer celebration event. She really enjoyed this and could see how important it was to look after volunteers. She wants to learn about how to access and apply. Fantastic. Thank you so much. That gives a kind of an overview of everybody in the room. How
I guess just to add, Madupe, there's one comment as well in the chat box of somebody's referenced as well that they've got them to attend a small local strategy meeting with regards to putting a funding project together as well. So just to add that in.
Fantastic. Thank you for all those opportunities. They are really helpful. And those mirror what the aspiring leaders have told us this morning. So thank you. So let's look at the third one. What are your challenges? Finding time and head space to make sure it is a useful experience. Identifying shadowing opportunities that aren't information sensitive, managing expectations of what is possible. And to be able to do this also mirrors some of the things the aspiring leader said. To be able to do this, one thing that is very important is a clear goal, which is what you have told us at the onboarding session. By having a clear goal that the aspiring leaders wanted to achieve, then we can be able to say, based on my role as a senior leader in this area and your goal, these are the opportunities I will ask you to shadow, or I would suggest that you shadow to be able to move that together. In terms of time management, we all know that time is precious. So it's about how we can juggle that together, really. aligning diaries, but no other issues. Thank you so much. Non-diary management, getting both of us together as often as practicable. So one of the things we've told the aspiring leaders on that is that they need to work with your PAs to make sure that that burden is not on you. They should look to sort that out by creating good relationship with your PA to make sure that you have a good experience on this journey together with them as much as possible, knowing that yourself are very busy and they are happy to do that. Finding suitable opportunities for shadowing that are not confidential, which we've said that we can use our goals to align that. And if there is anything that is confidential that you feel there is nothing I can do without this, get them to sign your organization confidential agreements, as we said at the onboarding session, so that they are bound by that agreement. I'm catching up with my aspiring leader to discuss some variety, different types of experience and insight. Fantastic. Finding meeting that it will be appropriate to be shadowed. This we've answered again is about tailoring it to what they said they want to achieve. Direct connection to their industry, yes, it's about goals. Then we can then align to what is it that I can do to help support that your goal. So take, for example, if you are working in the local authority and I want to build more confidence in chairing a meeting. So you can then say, oh, I chaired this meeting. Would you like to come and shadow me on that? So it's about tailoring it to the aspiring leader's goal. The process of get my mentee on site is an issue. I'm very concerned that my aspiring leader is not going to get time off work. Okay, this is very helpful. Can you please reach out to me? We've got few incidences of this that we have resolved. So please reach out to me and we can be able to work to support the aspiring leader to get that time off to come and do what they need to do. My aspiring leader works in the same company as me. They keep wanting to discuss operations rather than their development. Okay, this is a very good one. And this is where your heart of mentoring comes in, because it's a heart of mentoring and coaching that comes in now with this particular challenge. And I will invite some other people to help us look into it in the room. So when they kept looking at operation, what we can do is to direct them back to their goals. If their goals, thank you so much, Jim. Appreciate it. So if their goal is in line with operational, then we can support them on that. But if their goal is around strategic, we want to try and mentor them back to that direction and coach them back to that direction. I don't know if there is anybody in the room that would like to share any thoughts on that, about that particular one. My aspiring leader works in the same company. They keep wanting to discuss operations rather than their development. If you have any thoughts, you can just type it in so that we can look at it, then the person can learn more from that. NHS organizational changes is currently challenging. Totally agree, and it's about managing those areas. My own availability due to end of year process has been a challenge. Yeah, that is about time as well. Challenge is my rapidly moving diary, time management as well. My mentee is thinking of changing careers, so difficult to structure sessions until the pathway is decided. Okay, yeah. No major challenges other than time. I do not maybe revisit the original goals contracted for. Thank you so much, Joanne. That is really helpful. I do not understand the role of organizational contact and how this fits within the program. Okay, thank you so much. The role of organizational contact and how it fits in is, take for example, if there is an issue, one of the issues that was raised there was that the aspiring leaders was not given a time off to go and do the session. So when the person reached out to me, for example, I would then reach out to their specific organizational lead and say, this is the issue we are having, because you are internal, then you can be able to help us look into these matters, to resolve these matters, to make sure that the mentee and the mentors are able to progress in their journey. The other thing is that it is very important. One of the major aims is that we want to promote sustainability of this program, because at the end of this year, we step back And we want to make sure that even without us, without the Race Equality Hub, this program can still progress forward as a whole. And how would that be is by the specific points of contact, being able to work together with us to see how the program has been delivered and designed. Then they can roll it into their normal annual business plan in their organization as part of EDI action plan for their organization. If you have any further question on that, reach out to me and I can work to support you on that. Shift pattern communication, didn't attend a great first meeting, time commitments. That's another time commitment as well. If there is any communication issue, anything that needs to be addressed, please reach out to us and we can support you. Time management as well. The main challenge has been the ability of the participant to have the time off. Okay, please but that is being resolved. Okay, that's fine, because I wanted to say reach out to us. I think for me, it's about ensuring that the mentee has all the support they need to develop and grow. And that is about nurturing and tailoring it towards their goals. So this is still coming back to what you told us at the beginning of this program in March, that for you as senior leaders, goal setting is very important. So if there is no clear goal yet, engage with your aspiring leader to ask, what are your goals for this program? How do you want me to support you so that we can tailor that together? Time, schedule, ensuring that my mentee knows their goals. Thank you so much. That's very important. So far, no issue that we are in regular contact. That's good. Time and focus, clearer guidance on responsibilities of leader, aspiring leader with regards to program objectives. Okay, so if I will refer you back on this to the participant pack that was shared at the beginning of the program, the guidance is there for you in terms of your roles and responsibilities. Have some time to recap on that. If you have any specific question, reach out to us and we'll get back to you. She's wonderful shadowing candidate and we'll learn as much from her as she will from us. I think time is an issue, okay? So the challenge today is mainly around time. So I want to invite us to talk, the theme that is coming up is time. I will stop my screen quickly and then come back to it. How has people managed time? How have you been able to overcome the challenge around time? So I've seen something in the charts. I have supported my mentee in compiling their work-based evidence as part of an application for a forthcoming promotion process. Oh, you are a star. Thank you so much. As a sponsor, I am grateful to you. I have tried to ask my mentee to look where he wants to be in 5 years' time and use that as the initial plan. We go back on this every face-to-face meeting. Thank you. That is it. And what has been amazing, that he writes his evaluation, which allows for the plan to be living document. Thank you so much. That is really helpful. That's from Alina. So you can unmute yourself. You can raise up your hands, please, if you would like to talk about all the feedback we've had so far in terms of the challenges that people are facing that we've had. What do we think? What do we think? What are our thoughts? What can we bring in terms of time management? Any thoughts from anyone? I can see Nathan feeling comfortable with mentee shadowing days, even if we can't separate one-to-one time in a day. I think it is useful for them to be with us during a regular working day, taking part in the conversations and meetings of that day. So that is another way Nathan has been doing his own. Any thoughts from anybody in the room? Can see a thumb up on that. Thank you so much.
I think just to add to Nathan's comment, Madupe, because that really talked, didn't it, to some of the challenges that the aspiring leaders talked about in the last session, in that I think sometimes there was a bit of a challenge on capacity where they were saying they was having time with somebody, but then there was another meeting straight after it. So they felt like a little bit rushed. So I think that suggestion there of actually, extending that time when you're having it would be really meaningful for both, really. So yeah, I really like that as a suggestion of how you're doing that, Nathan.
Thank you so much. That is fantastic. That is really helpful, Kelly. I'm from Nathan. And I've seen about 3 people put a thumb up for that. So that is really helpful. Kelvin, thank you so much. Unmute, yeah.
Hi, good morning, Madupe. Good morning, everybody. We've tried as best we can to not restrict ourselves to, that's probably not the right word to be honest, but we've not limited ourselves, I should say, to face-to-face meetings. So as an example, I was actually involved in a coaching session with a completely different individual a couple of weeks back, and I invited my mentee along to form part of the group. This particular individual I was coaching was looking for presentation skills support, and my mentee was invited along to provide support and feedback and engagement as part of that session. But it also gave me an opportunity to observe my mentee in a different environment in the workplace. So even though it wasn't a dedicated session that we'd scheduled one-to-one with ourselves, I opened up an invite to come along to something else I was doing with somebody else to try and maximise time for everybody. Obviously, I got agreement with the coachee that I was working with as well at the time, but that seemed to work quite well. So we've got some flexibility in regards to, we're not limiting ourselves to, well, it has to be a one-to-one or it has to be a thing between me and you. I'm trying to maximise access and exposure to as many different things as I think would be relevant as part of the development elements and objectives that we've identified together as part of our initial onboarding meeting.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your help on that, because it's about not restricting the areas where they will get that opportunity by making it more flexible and more widely. Thank you very much. Andrew?
Good morning, Madupe. Good morning, everybody. I think that the time challenge is ever thus, isn't it? And I'm not being glib around all that. We're all busy in our diaries. Are always ram-packed with stuff. So I think we all just need to, I'm sure we all should be creative and prioritise it. So certainly how I do this, and picking up Kelly's point, I think some of this is just making sure that you sit together with your two diaries and kind of say, right, well, let's have a look at what's coming up in the next month or two and what could you do and what might work, and just protect that in the diary at all costs. But absolutely, Kelly, you said building time just to have some debriefs and one-to-one time, because just sitting in 3 or 4 things and going is a bit suboptimal, isn't it? The other bit, though, I think, and apologies for my kind of slightly clunky grammar, one of the comments I made was, but it's not just all about me. So my mentee sat in my management team, but very deliberately so she can connect with 6 or 7 other really senior people. And so when my mentee is coming back to Knowsley next Wednesday, she's spending 3 or 4 hours with my number 2, my very senior assistant executive director, because my mentee was very impressed with her because she's fantastic. So it doesn't all have to be about just my time. The value of this is getting an insight into different leadership styles at Knowsley, because we all do things in different ways. And I'm not a woman, but my number 2 is, so she can give an insight into the leadership challenges that women have, different from men. So I think it's about sharing that burden with a wider group of leaders within your organisation as well, which will just enrich the whole experience for people and ease that pressure upon our individual diaries.
Fantastic. I love that word, sharing that burden. That would really be helpful, and being able to say, you know what, let's there be exposure to, a female as well, so that female to female, they can be able to look at that journey together. Thank you so much. That is really helpful. So in terms of, I think there is another hand I see, or is it a legacy hand? Is there any hand that I'm missing, Kelly or Ola?
I can't see any hands raised now, Madupe, but there's a couple of comments. I don't know if you want to just pick up on them in the chat.
Okay. Let's look at that chat.
So one from Ronnie.
Okay. So, sorry about the name. Yeah. As you know, Madupe, I raised the issue with you about the employees organization not allowing time off for the aspiring leader, and we have now moved from phone calls only through team calls to face-to-face meeting and regular time of being scheduled by the managers. Introducing them to the PA face-to-face has also been helpful when I'm not available for any reason. Thank you so much. And thank you, Rooney, for being able to share this on the chat, because Rooney actually came to me at the onboarding session and said, this is the issue we are going through, and we work together to resolve that issue. So that is an example of how we can work together with the specific points of contact for the organization, yourself as the senior leader, and us is about collaboration. Agreed with Andrew, my team have really helped in this way too, and give wider exposure to my aspiring leader. So thank you very much. We've seen some tips from there. I hope we're able to pick 1 or 2 things to help, support us on this journey. So I will quickly go back to the screen again and share my slide, whereby I invite my colleague from the Race Equality Hub to briefly mention what are the opportunities that is available for support for yourself as senior leaders taking part in this program. Malika?
Thanks, Mazupe. Thanks everybody for your contributions, and good morning. It's nice to be able to see some of you virtually. Looking forward to being able to get in the room again. Just a very quick 2 minutes touch point on me whilst we're checking everybody's pulse. Right the way through this program, we want to make sure that obviously the aspiring leaders get the best opportunity and have the most positive experience, but we also recognise the impact of us sharing our stories, collectively sharing stories that sometimes may be underpinned with trauma or things that may arise. And so we just wanted to take the time to make sure everybody is taking into consideration self-care. And whatever that looks like for you. Self-care might not be sitting down and meditating as such. It might be going for a walk. It might be going for a coffee. And I think what some people have already shared on the call about looking at how you can come together collaboratively in different ways. So maybe not always that one-to-one formally structured meeting, but it might be about going and getting a coffee together, having a walk together. And I really liked what Andrew said about you know, just sharing that opportunity for the aspiring leaders to get access to other people within the organisation together. I think that's really powerful, considering that we are breaking glass ceilings here together, and that all of our experiences at some point will intersect. And it's just trying to find that commonality really about where we all are in our journeys. But I do really appreciate you all lending your time and your busy schedules to be able to propel forward the leadership opportunities of our Black, Asian, minority ethnic community as well. I think, you know, I always talk about engagement and building trust, hope, sense of worth and competencies. A lot of our Black, Asian, minority ethnic aspiring leaders, like all of us, have a lot of different things going on. So this is something additional we are all doing to our general 9 to 5, additional to our other hats that we might wear outside of our organisation. Additional to being a parent, a carer, etc. So we just want us to really remind ourselves to just have that check in there as well, whilst we are setting goals, planning meetings, just to take care of each other, take care of self. I suppose in terms of our Black, Asian, minority ethnic communities, we do at the Race Equality Hub offer an online safe space. They happen once every month, and the next one is coming up on the 11th of June. So if anybody does have any mentees that they feel like they would benefit from coming along to that, because sometimes people do feel like they would like to express some concerns in a space that are specifically held for Black, Asian, minority ethnic people to be able to fully share and not feel like they are sharing a burden or re-traumatizing, etc. So please do encourage them to come along, and our email address is just at the bottom there. And just finally, I suppose a quick touch point. I think what happened over the bank holiday weekend has absolutely impacted every single person across the city region and further afield. So it's just always a checkpoint as well on those people in terms of the aftermath and what happens after such tragic and horrific events like that, and just making sure we get a temperature check whilst we're checking our pulse to say that everyone is okay, and if they do need any support, to reach out to us, the hub. Equally for our senior leaders, we appreciate that we only know what we know and we're on a learning journey together, but we're on a learning journey to break glass ceilings together. So if you do feel like as senior leaders you need any support, always reach out to us, and obviously GraceHola in the first instance, just to make sure that you guys feel as supported as possible as well whilst on this programme. My email address is on there, as well as the Race Equality Hubs, but I just wanted to kind of come in with that really, and making sure that we're looking at self and prioritising self in our very busy schedules. And just a big thank you from us at the Race Equality Hub for joining us on this initiative with GraceHola. A big thank you to GraceHola for holding the space and doing a temperature check as well. It's really inspiring to listen to the aspiring leaders this morning, and for your commitment to all coming onto this call today and sharing some feedback. It only helps us make sure that the rest of the programme goes the best that it can. Thanks, Mazupe. I'll hand over to yourself.
Thank you so much. That is really helpful. So lastly, before we round up, we want to hear your feedback. What is your feedback from today? How are you feeling at the end of this support session? And what specific thing, if still available, do you need? So we've put in the chat there the link. If you just want to click on it, if you want to use your phone to do that, please scan the QR code. It's going to be 3 questions. I will take it off here and I will come back to the back end here so that we can see. So the 3 questions is that one word describe how you feel after today's session? Just in one word to describe how you feel after today's session. And 2, what is one thing you plan to do differently after today's session? A lot of us have spoken about purple flag and we like it, about how we're going to, use our own, way of doing it. It might not be purple, it might be color from our branding organization, branding. We can use that. Are you taking that forward? Is there any one thing you would like to take forward? Please put into the form, because this is how we measure the impact of this program, and this is how we can get further funding to support all organizations that are represented here today. And the last question is, what additional supports or resources would be helpful for you at this time? So while we are completing that, and I can see how people are doing so far. We've got 4 people completed that energized, reassured, ideas. I love that in inverted comma, ideas. That is the reason why we are here. We want to build ideas together. We want to, go on this journey together. So while we are doing that, I'll just quickly highlight the key thing in terms of wrapping up. At the moment, we are looking to explore opportunities for senior leaders as well as aspiring leaders with National Career Service to see what support can they give to us as senior leaders, because you are given to the aspiring leaders. We need to give back to you as well. So in order to do that, we are exploring the opportunities with the National Career Service to see how we can work with that for the next 2 sessions that we have for your support session. Also continue to engage as you've been doing. If there is anything you need, reach out to us. Thank you. 9 people has completed. Please complete the form, because this is how we can measure our performance. What else you want to see in the future for us? That would really be good. So I encourage every one of us in this room to please help us with those 3 questions. That would really be helpful. Lastly is about making sure that we engage in the future sessions. One is in July, the other one is in October. And the last one is the day we come together face-to-face in terms of the celebration events in December. And as part of this, we are asking for case studies. If you as a senior leader would like to do a case study for us of what has this program done to you, what is the importance of this program? How do you see this program? What are your experiences of this program? So that we can be able to compile that, share it with everybody on the day that we are doing the celebration together in December, and be able to. Ola, do you want me to give you a control? Okay, so that is to help us to be able to do that. So please get in touch with us. I can see key stories from today that will really be helpful for us to feature in the upcoming case studies. So I'll be reaching out to some people as well myself directly. And if you would like to take part in it, please reach out to me. I will be so grateful. And we've got 1 more minute left. And I want to use that 1 minute to say a massive thank you to everybody that made it today. Thank you so much for the input. Thank you so much for the contribution. Thank you for the open hands for working together with us and the Raise Equality Hub on this, because without you, we cannot do this. We are very grateful. Keep doing what you are doing. The feedback from the aspiring leaders is fantastic. They are happy. Remember what I said? She said, I felt like a queen in the room. Imagine how you made her to feel. So thank you very much. Have a great day, everybody. If you have any question, anything, reach out. We'll get back to you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Maduka.
you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.